Hands up if you manage the top scorers in the whole of English football. Also hands up if you're top of the championship. Hello and welcome to part 113 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two matches for you. Firstly, at home against last year's big rivals QPR, and then away against local-ish rivals Birmingham. Since you were last with me, we have had the most ridiculous, remarkable, unbelievable start to the championship season you can possibly imagine, and it has featured a lot of goals. As you can see, we've had a 3-0, a 3-1, a boring old 1-0, a 6-4 against Swansea, which is possibly the most Kev game of the save so far, because we went 4-0 up, then it got back to 4-4, and we still went on and won 6-4. That's not how football's supposed to happen. But then we also beat top of the table Norwich 5-1. That's right, Norwich were top of the league at that point, and we stuffed them 5-1 before throwing away a 2-0 lead against Portsmouth to concede 4 goals in the last 15 minutes and lose. But all of it means we are top of the championship if we can actually have a look at the league table. Only the 1 point clear of Bristol City, but you know what? I don't care what league position we're in. As far as I'm concerned, it's 15 points on the board. That means we only need another 31 points to hit the Kev ratio for the season. The only goal is to not get relegated. We might adjust that if we're still there at Christmas, but right now, even if we lose both of these matches today, which hopefully we shouldn't, QPR should be a team we should beat because they're one of the teams that came up with us. I know they finished above us last season, but if we're going to be able to beat anyone in this league, it should be QPR. And by the way, Norwich were in the Premier League last year. West Brom we've beaten. They were in the Premier League last year. We're not beating the riffraff of the Championship. We've been thumping the best teams in the division. We're playing really rather well, and it makes me so very happy that Dan Fisher has been such a big part of it. Dan Fisher is having a resurgence at championship level, 6 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists, averaging a 7.73, but he's not alone. Ollie Stainsby, 6 goals from 7 appearances. Chris Ruggles has got 3 goals from 1 appearance. He played against Norwich and scored a hat-trick. He was injured at the start of the season, so there's plenty of competition for places. It's all just gone a little bit insane. Obviously ignoring that result in the last game, which I think was probably us coming back down to earth with the bump. But let's see how we respond to that against QPR. And this is the team we're putting out there. We've got Hugo in goal, a back four of O'Brien, Hughes, Taggart and Ibrahim, with Barron, Lenton and Anderson in midfield, and Ball in behind Ruggles and Stainsby. Dan Fisher's going to feel a little bit hard done by that he's only on the bench, but Ruggles scored a hat-trick against top of the table Norwich, and then we brought Fisher back in for Portsmouth and lost. So I think Ruggles probably earns a place back in the side. Also notable is that Eddie Marshall-Wart is sat on our bench, despite the fact that we've got Peter Wade, Sam Griffiths both at the club. My assistant manager, who still picks the subs, thinks Eddie Marshall-Wart is the most appropriate substitute goalkeeper. So we might actually have a decent up-and-coming keeper there, which would be marvellous. Let's get into the game and hopefully continue this goal-scoring form we were in last night. I always have that little bit of fear that it could just be one of those sessions of Football Manager that you have. I was doing it on the Steam cloud save, so I was playing it on my laptop in the house, sat there on the sofa, watching a bit of telly, playing a bit of Football Manager, only semi-concentrating on what was going on. And as we scored more and more goals, I was thinking, hang on, I feel like I might have to start concentrating here. This is all going a little bit crazy. And it could just be one of those things that now I've saved it, Steam Cloud saved it back across here. It's a new day on a new machine. Everything resets. We don't have the magic winning ability now, and we'll go back to being the relegation battling club that we should be in this division. Although if we can have another, looking further ahead, if we can have another 6-game spell like the one we've just had, we're going to be on 30 points. Which, 30 points after 12 games, you pretty much feel safe at that point. So, as much as I expect to come back down to earth with a bump at some point, part of me is also thinking, but if we can just extend this run for another month, or another 6 weeks, or maybe another 2 months, then that's our job done for the season. And Ruggles is in and forces a good save out of the QPR keeper. That was the first good chance of the game. And I absolutely want to keep the run of form going. So we're just gonna keep keep trying. Ruggles again with, oh my word, Ruggles with a spectacular effort from long range, bounces back off the underside of the bar. Their defender then clears it back into the bar again and it bounces back down, and inexplicably we've not got ahead in this game. We have had 2 massive chances for Ruggles and a ridiculous clearance that deserved an own goal as well. Barron now with the shot, and it's Ball with the shot, and there's desperate defending here, and finally, of all people, Brandon Hughes turns it into the back of the net and he's offside. It doesn't even count. It's disallowed. Rubbish. And we continue to bombard the QPR goal. It's with Ball to Anderson, back to Lenton, to Anderson again. Ball now. I feel like he was fouled, but apparently he wasn't. And it comes all the way back to O'Brien. And we just begin building again, hopefully, and continue this siege that we've got the QPR back 4 under. And it's with James Ball, Barron, through to Ball, who can't quite get onto the end of it. And I hope this isn't QPR about to counter-attack and grab a goal, because that would make me very unhappy, based on how we've utterly dominated this first half in everything but goals scored. What is Hugo doing? Oh my word. And it was a terrible clearance as well, but it finds its way through to Ball, who's through on goal. James Ball squares it to Ruggles, and finally we get the breakthrough, and it is Chris Ruggles. 4 goals in 1 and a bit games now for us this season. Chris Ruggles looks like he's decided he's going to have one of those seasons where he officially arrives as an absolute superstar. After just being a consistent regular goal scorer for 3 years, he is looking absolutely lethal this season so far, and he's only our 3rd highest scorer at this point. We are in some good form. I know this form cannot possibly last forever. I am not going to get carried away. I am not expecting any kind of promotion this season. I'm not expecting a playoff push this season. I am just hoping that we can get as many points on the board as we can while we are playing out of our skin. I don't know why we're playing out of our skin. I don't know if bringing in this midfield from Exeter has been the difference maker. They are very good midfield players, but they got relegated from the Championship 2 years ago with Exeter. They didn't get promoted with Exeter last season, so it's not as if they're world-beating midfielders who can take us to the top of the Championship on their own. But maybe they were the only good part of the Exeter team, and maybe that was the biggest part of our team that needed fixing, and they've slotted into our system nicely. Who knows? We haven't even seen Kent Wheatley play yet. We bring in... Stainsby's getting sent off here. That's gonna put a downer on things a little bit, because you know how we are with 10 men. We just don't know what to do. Although I wonder if the form Ruggles is in, could he just lead the line on his own? I think he's probably capable of it. Just to have Ruggles with James Ball running in behind him and see how he gets on his own, rather than weakening us further back, as we are ahead in the game already. But yeah, Kent Wheatley's come in on loan for 2 years as a 4-star current ability player, supposed to be as good as Ruggles, and he's not even on the bench today. He's had a couple of appearances off the bench and not impressed at all. And we've not needed to use him. We've got the same strikers that we were using last year. It's mad. Right, Ball comes on for O'Brien. We're also going to take off Anderson and bring on Alex Barber. We have some good strength in depth at the moment, by the way. Being able to bring on Barber in this kind of situation it's good stuff. Barron as well, Tony Barron, the guy we've got on loan from Leeds, I think he's on loan from. And I said when I signed him, it was with a view to him playing regularly. Then we signed the Exeter lads. Well, Barron is a good midfield player as well. We've got loads of options in midfield. We've got Taggart, who's come into the back 4. O'Brien has been an improvement at left back. I think it's still a weakness in the team. I don't think he's solved the problem. Ruggles is in again here and forces another save out of the QPR keeper. Chris Ruggles could and probably should have had a hat-trick today. He has been very, very dangerous every time he's been anywhere near the ball. I hope we just don't live to regret some of the misses and some of the bad luck that we've had with shots cannoning back off of the frame of the goal. And QPR are in and they do get their equaliser. And I feel quite hard done by. I know we're down to 10 men, and as soon as that happened, you know I don't know what to do when we're down to 10 men. It's not even just an FM18 thing. We've had discussions in the comments going back a year, 2 years, about how much I just haven't got a clue what to do when we go down to 10 men. And it just doesn't fit in with the way I play. My tactics are based on 11 players. I don't have a solution for 10. Right, what can we do? I feel like we need to get Dan Fisher on to try and grab a winner. Do we sacrifice a midfielder, I guess? So if we take Barron off, bring on Dan Fisher. I mean, this might be stupid. Everyone's screaming at me, Kev, just play for the draw. Bring on another defender. My view is, forget playing for the draw. We're at home against a team who were in the division below last year. 10 men or not, we're top of the league. We should be trying to win this game. So let's get Dan Fisher on and do exactly that. Let's try and win this game. And now QPR are going down to 10 men, and we're going to have 3 minutes, 10 versus 10. And you never know. 5 more minutes, in fact. Let's grab a winner, a late winner, and it's with Barber with the free kick to Ball. No, I mean, I don't know what we did there. Barber seemed to take the free kick to himself and then still have a shot. I'm pretty sure that was an illegal manoeuvre. We got away with it in so much as it wasn't called back, but it didn't score us a goal. 1-1 against QPR is never going to be a disaster. I do feel like it's a little bit of a missed opportunity, though, largely because of Stainsby's red card. But now we go away to Birmingham, who are down in the relegation zone, and hopefully can grab ourselves 3 points. We're still top of the league, everybody. Just one change for the Birmingham game, then Fisher comes in for the suspended Stainsby. There's still no place on the bench for Wheatley. Hold on, I'm going to go and look for him. Is his name Wheatley or is it something else? I know it's Kent W something. Yeah, Kent Wheatley. I mean, you would think this lad would be good enough. But my assistant manager, who continues to pick the substitutes, is adamant that he's not. And Ali Afsharian will be our substitute today if we need to bring on a striker. So let's get into the game. Hopefully, we won't need to bring on a striker because Fisher and Ruggles together, this will be the first time this season they've played together. But Fisher and Ruggles have both been in incredible form, as had Stainsby before the last game when he was terrible and got himself sent off. So I hope it's not the indication that the run of awesome is coming to an end. But you saw how lively Ruggles was in the last game. We've got a rejuvenated Dan Fisher playing on a reduced contract again. And apparently, if you pay Dan Fisher too much money, he doesn't play very well. But if you drop him down to about £5,000 a week, suddenly he decides he wants them goal bonuses again, and he starts playing like the Dan Fisher of old. Anderson out to Ibrahim, cross comes in, and neither Fisher nor Ruggles are there to convert it. And Birmingham cut through our midfield really rather easily, which is a bit of a worry. Remember, Birmingham are down in the relegation zone, which is exactly where we should be. And 3 minutes on the clock, and it's Birmingham 1, Nuneaton 0. I think it's fair to say the little bubble has burst. Our honeymoon period is over, but at least we can be grateful for the fact that we had an awful lot of points on the board. The last time we were in the Championship in our relegation season, don't quote me on it, I think we lost our first 6 games. So we're already 16 points better off than we were at this stage 2 years ago when we got relegated. And if you look at where we finished that season, if we'd have had an extra 16 points at the end of the year, we'd have stayed up. So I'd like to think that we've already made a solid contribution towards staying in this league next year, and Dan Fisher's in and equalises. So this is what I mean. The lad wants them goal bonuses back again. I think he's only about 5 goals now away from becoming our all-time record goal scorer. He's the club captain and he's playing regularly again for the first time in about 2 seasons. And look how hard he's working, using that pace that we all forgot he had to tuck away a really sloppy back pass. And it's 1-1 and we're back at the top of the league again, and we've got a throw in with Ibrahim. Let's go and do something ridiculous. Not defensively. Let's go and do something ridiculous like go and score 7 goals away from home. I need to watch what I'm saying and when I'm saying it, because the defenders heard me and almost did. Fisher's in again. Dan Fisher straight at the keeper this time though, but Fisher looking lively, which is exactly what we want. And now we've got a corner from Barron. I can't get my words out. Corner from Barron, and we have no red shirts there to collect. So Birmingham come away with it, but Hughes intercepts nicely, and it's straight back at him again. Apparently we're being seriously overrun in midfield. I don't think me and my assistant manager are watching the same game, because it looks like we're controlling the midfield really rather nicely. But just because they've happened to have a couple of extra midfielders in there, obviously that means they're controlling it. I disagree. You only need 4 midfielders. We've got 4 central midfielders after all. We're definitely controlling the middle of the pitch. They might be doing better down the sides, but who cares about the sides? The goal's in the middle. There's the logic. Why stick players out wide when that's not where the goal is? Fisher crosses towards Ruggles, who doesn't get on the end of it. And Birmingham come away again. Again, using these wide areas where there's no goal. Seems very inefficient. And it goes all the way back to their full back. and they come at us again. Okay, perhaps they are controlling the midfield a little bit because we don't seem to be able to get anywhere near the ball here. And luckily for us, their shooting seems a little bit wayward. O'Brien's on a yellow card and well off the pace again. I thought Darragh O'Brien was going to be a massive, massive signing for us in the summer. I know he was relatively cheap, but I thought we finally had a proper left back, the equivalent of what Joe Anderson was for us when we were down in League One, an outstanding left back for our level. In actual fact, we've got a lad who looks like he's struggling to keep up with the pace of the Championship, gets a lot of yellow cards, which is a problem when you're only allowed one a game. And I don't know, Phil Ball might be finding his way back into the team sooner rather than later. Ball's probably already played more games than O'Brien this season anyway, just by virtue of O'Brien being suspended. But that might become a more permanent switch again, because I don't think Ball let us down at any point last year. I was just never really convinced he was going to be our long-term answer. I always kind of just thought he's the youngster who's playing at the moment while we find a proper one. Fisher's in again and again. It is straight at the Birmingham keeper. And it doesn't look like top versus bottom at the moment. This looks like a very even game, which... Again, getting your cliche bingo cards out. If at the start of the season you'd offered us 9 games in having a very even game away against Birmingham, I'd have been all over that. An even game away against Birmingham means we're probably doing all right and establishing ourselves as a Championship club. But we are 2-1 down, and this free scoring awesomeness that we were doing last night when I was sat in the comfort of my sofa doesn't seem to be translating towards sitting out here in front of the camera and you lot, and you're just seeing Nuneaton. You're used to this. Well, the difference this season is I'm not going to be disheartened and discouraged by when it doesn't go our way. We're just going to continue playing our football our way, trying to score goals, knowing that sometimes we will, and hoping that that's going to be enough. I said before, if we get relegated, we'll go down swinging, and we didn't really. We spent the whole season being defensive and not doing it very well, and we kind of went down with a whimper. Well, this year, A, we ain't going down, but B, if it does all go wrong, and we do, this time we will keep swinging. We'll have none of this counter-attacking, defensive nonsense, none of these wingers. We're going to play proper, attacking, narrow football, the way the game is supposed to be played. Right. Anderson with the corner. That's just a terrible corner. That was just awful. And now Birmingham have got a break on. And it all goes back to that awful, awful corner. If they score here, I'm going to fine Anderson for terrible corner taking. It was Anderson who took it, wasn't it? I probably would have had to have gone back and just double-checked. Anderson's not having the best of games. He's the other one who I identified in the last episode as signing of the season. And of the 3 who came in from Exeter, probably the weakest of the 3 at the moment. Denny was brilliant before he got injured. But he's now going to be out for a month or two, which is a bit of a shame because he was really, really good. But Anderson, not been that impressed with so far. We've got James Russell on the bench, so he can come on for Ball. And we'll bring Barber on for Anderson and just swap. No, we're not going to swap them around, actually. We're going to leave them that way. And you know what? Oh, I was tempted to do a triple. We haven't got Lang on the bench. I was going to take Ibrahim off as well. But we're just going to leave it for now. Both of our fullbacks are on yellow cards and not playing very well, which is terrifying based on how we play football. Russell now have a chance to grab an equaliser for us, but it's straight at their defender, and it's with O'Brien, who... What did he just do? Oh! Okay, O'Brien is a problem. I am now willing to acknowledge that O'Brien is going to be a problem for us. He is not good enough, I don't think. Phil Ball might not be much better, if better at all, but at least he's 5 years younger and has time to improve. O'Brien is already at his peak and does stuff like that, and we're 3-1 down against a team that were in the relegation zone at the start of the episode while we were top of the league. I think we're still sat there in an automatic promotion spot. We're not going to be there long based on how we've played today, and there's O'Brien's red card, I think. I mean, it's been coming, and I can hear you screaming at me in the comments, should have taken him off. And I wonder if that might be the last we ever see of Darragh O'Brien. That's what you get for hiring a bald comedian to play at left back for you. Psh. Right. I mean, there doesn't seem any point in bringing Phil Ball on at the moment, but I guess we have to do it just because it's the right thing to do in the circumstances. Do that. And we had this 2 years ago in the Championship. We got our fullbacks sent off a lot. And it just seems to be... It's an indication that we're struggling, I think, with our system. When our fullbacks are having to work so hard that they're getting themselves bookings and red cards, that's probably an indication that the system's not working. But I heard what I said a few minutes ago. You all heard what I said a few minutes ago. And we're going to pretend that's not happening and just look at the league table and go, look, 9 games in, we're in an automatic promotion spot. There's no problems here. We're all good. And we might review that attitude in 6 games' time if we've lost them all. But for now, we're doing better than anyone could have possibly imagined we would. So I'm gonna take that and go home happy. Ugh. Brian, we need to send him back from wherever we got him from. We paid money for him. Ugh. Anyway, if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.